Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. So we're going to be talking about the sixth life path. And before we get into it, make sure to subscribe to my channel for more numerology videos and also give me a thumbs up if you like it. Also, I have a numerology Facebook group if you'd like a reading of your birth date. So it's called Mary's Miracle Tribe, and I'll put a link of it below, and every single person who joins, they get at least 20 minutes of the birth chart reading from me. So when you come in, you can fill out your birthday, and I'll tag you in videos that are relevant to your birthday. Also, I'll put a timeline below to find different sections of this video for Sixth Life Path. So for Sixth Life Path, we are going to be going over the symbolism, traits, purpose, gifts, challenges, careers, an affirmation for Sixth Life Path, and lastly, famous Sixth Life Path people. So first, let's start with the symbolism of Sixth Life Path. So when I think of six in general, I think of home, family, relationships, commitment, creativity, community, idealism, vision, and social harmony. So let's begin with the first symbolism. So I think of so six represents the goddess of Venus, and it is the planet of luxury, beauty, love, peace, and harmony. And Sixth Life Path, they like to create harmony within groups and communities. And in astrology, so next symbolism, in astrology, Virgo is the sixth sign, and in the sixth house of astrology, it represents daily routine, schedule, health, and wellness. And all six life paths, I know they're consistently working on their health and well-being. Next symbolism is in tarot. So in that, it represents the card of the lovers. So it's anything related to the heart and harmony. In reverse, also upside down, it represents separation or temptation. And next one is looking at the month of June. So June obviously is the sixth month, and it's named after Juno, who is the patroness of marriage. Also, fun fact, in history, June has the most marriages scheduled for that month. So you should Google it. Like it's either the first or second, or majority of all time is June has the most marriages. Interesting. Next symbolism, I want to talk about religions now. So Judaism, in the Star of David, it has 6 points symbolizing God's rule over the universe in 6 directions. And also, this is Googled, so I mean, you can look further into it. I don't follow Judaism, so just making sure it's correct information. So with the Star of David, it has 2 triangles like together, symbolizing 2 dimensions of God. In Buddhism, so we'll talk about the concept of samsara, which is the wheel of life, and it has 6 spheres of existence that we are trapped in, and the only way to free ourselves is through enlightenment. Next, in the Bible, we're going to look at how, so have you heard of God created man in 7 days. On the 7th day is completion, is rest. So in the Bible, 6 means it represents man, which is one away from perfection. And I always find that Sixth Life Path, they're constantly developing it into their higher standards. They have also issues with perfectionism as well, and learning to accept themselves as they are, as the human being that they are. Also in the Bible, Jesus was conceived on the 6th day and crucified on the 6th day, which represents passion and suffering for something. And so in general, so out of all these symbolism, it represents our humanness and the balance between perfection and imperfection. On the shadow side, it could mean the bondage to human affairs, such as marriage, kids, sex. So that's it for symbolism. Moving on to traits of a Sixth Life Path. So they're one of my favorite people, or the vibration of the 6. I always find that, so my friends who are Sixth Life Paths, they just demonstrate so much deep love and care for you and your growth and your health. So they are nurturing, they are giving, exceptionally loving, unselfish, idealistic, loyal, trustworthy, expressive, socially conscious, compassionate, responsible, and they're like a friend that acts like a caring parent. When they enter a room, they have magnetic, authoritative, yet nurturing energy. So it's a force that's hard to ignore. So for example, with that magnetic force of a 6, when they're cooking dinner and they're happy, you will feel warmth in the room. But if they're unhappy, the food will taste cold. So last thing about the traits I listed is they often encourage you to do the right thing or the best thing to reach your highest potential while committing to your growth. Then moving on to purpose of a 6 life path. They are known as the nurturers, the visionaries, the dreamers, healers, justice warriors, and servant leaders. So their purpose is to work on using essentials when it comes to helping society evolve. They work with idealism, high visions, high standards. They like to teach truth and justice because they're constantly working on their constantly working on themselves personally, and they're here to work with human consciousness and spiritual advancement to inspire others upward. So with that strong desire to evolve society, they must work on self-acceptance. So that besides accepting themselves as they are right here and now, they also have to work on it with accepting others as they are here and now, as well as the world here and now. And they are here, a part of their purpose is huge, that they're here to master situations between obligation and caring for others versus knowing when to step back. So just learning not to let the situation control them. Their highest priorities starts at home. So they do believe in a strong family unit, and put the most effort into knowing the friendships in their life, and relationships are essential to their happiness. Some other life paths, they do better in private, or they do best, or money is essential to them. But with 6 life paths, it's relationships, friendships. And so like when they were younger, they might have started acting like they were in charge. Maybe they had older siblings and they acted like they were in charge of those siblings. They like to view other people from paternally or maternal point of view. So with their work, they either work in an environment with children or animals that they can take care of. If not, then they treat their coworkers and colleagues like their families. So they're often working with communities, or they're in charge of running businesses. They are the ones who dream of a utopian society, or the perfect society where everybody's evolving. I think about Michael Jackson. He's a 6 life path. Their mission is to improve themselves and others around them. So when you're friends with them, you're going to go on a personal growth journey with them to reach your own potential. When they mature, so at their highest, they are led by vision. They accept themselves as they are at the present moment. They work with their wisdom. They turn judgment into possibilities for growth. They inspire others with hope and possibilities for a better world, and they see the bigger picture that divine perfection is everywhere. So, last thing I want to say about the purpose is that without them, we would have a society with no hope, no morals, no ethics, and everything is what it is, and there's nothing more possible. So that's the 6 energy. And now, moving on to the gifts and the light side of a 6 life path. So the light of the 6 vibration is very home and family oriented. They are very fair people. They teach truth and justice. I think of the judge. They have a desire to heal or give therapy to people. Another gift is clairvoyancy, and that's with vision, like seeing things clearly, because they're visionaries. They like to see improvements of society, to see society evolve, so that develops for them. So vision, growth, dedication and acceptance is part of their gift as well. And another thing I listed is they have exceptional creativity. So they can find every opportunity to either express it at home or at the world's stage. They do excel in a wide range of creative expressions, from like art, music, poetry, singing, even acting. In friendships, so the 6, they tend to be very loyal, trustworthy, supportive. They have loving dedication, and they give you hope and inspiration to grow to your potential. When there is chaos, I find that they're the ones that control the chaos. They know how to control the chaos. They're the first ones to know what to do to bring harmony within a group or community. If everything is completely peaceful, they're like, what do I even do now? Like, nobody needs me. So yeah, and then the next thing I listed with the gift or the light side of a 6 is they have an acute sense of smell. So they can also develop clairsentience, which is clear smell. So I find them like very sensitive to like lotions, scents, candles, and it's like they can smell things from miles away. As for manifestation, their thoughts, okay, so they're already magnetic, and their thoughts are also magnetic. Their thoughts and words are. So whatever you think or the 6 life path thinks, it will happen. And actually law of attraction is very easy for them. So for example, they can attract, if they have this group project coming up, they can easily attract the right people to help and support them in their endeavors. And it could also be the other way around. If they think, I don't need anyone to help me, I'll do it by myself, and then all of a sudden, like, they find that they're all by themselves. Okay, so that's the last of the gift and light side of the 6 life path so far. Now moving on to the shadows or the challenges of the 6 life path. So the shadow of a 6 vibration. So there's social irresponsibility, like being nosy or gossipy. So just think of like a parent who wants to know every single thing that their teenager is doing. Like, oh, what's happening with this? Or are you talking to this boy? Or like, what are you doing this weekend? And like the teenager's like, stop, like, why are you so nosy on my life? So, and another thing is, 6 life paths, they are servant leaders, so they could find themselves feeling like they're a slave to other people's needs. Also there's like self-righteousness too, because they always focus on like what's the best thing to do, what's the right thing to do. Another shadow side is failing to appreciate imperfection. There's actually chaos, like the universe is constantly in chaos, but it's also perfect at the same time. Like they gotta know that. Another shadow side is being overly critical and judgmental of themselves and others. So I just find that the people who have the highest standards, they have the lowest self-worth. Constantly measuring up themselves to the best person, or the person that does the most right thing, or this is how you should feel, this is the right thing that you should do. Shadow side of a 6, it just leads to disappointment or frustration. So they have this perfectionist mindset. Like, I can do better than that, or I need to do the best thing, or I'm not good enough, or yeah, so that can be projected onto others. And even like in life in general, like everything people do is a projection anyway. So with the 6, it sometimes makes it difficult to live with a 6 life path, because it's like on the worst, like no one can live up to their standards. Another shadow side I listed is they're seeing the world as imperfect or flawed. So when they first meet people, they tend to put the others on a pedestal, but when you put others on a pedestal, people are bound to fall. So they project an idealized image of a person or an environment, and then when people don't live up to their expectations, they just end up being disappointed or frustrated or like angry, in the worst case. So with a 6, so if you know, I think it's called analogy. So about the glass, if the glass is half full or half empty, they would see that it's half empty. So like when they see failure, they have a great ability to make somebody feel very guilty about it. So they're like a parent. That's all I think about is a parent. If they become too idealistic or too impatient, they're going to continue dealing with issues of judgment, disappointment, because they're just constantly comparing themselves with other people's judgments as well. And they're also sensitive to shortcomings, might nitpick little details. So for example, when following a healthy routine, they could do 20 things right, and then if there's one thing that they made a mistake on, they're just going to obsess over that. Another thing is they can become too identified with their responsibilities, believing that I matter if I'm needed. So if they try to fix everybody's problems, it traps them into just a bubble of anxiety, worry, stress. And if the worrying is too chronic, it could lead to like mild psychosis. It's like being impaired with your thoughts and emotions, and it separates them from reality. Last thing I want to say is naturally they're giving by nature, but they can push or they can give to the limit. And if somebody doesn't appreciate the 6, then the 6 feels betrayed. So that's the last thing about the challenge or the shadow side of a 6. Next section is I want to talk about development for a 6 life path. So I find that deep down, 6 life paths, they want to do the right thing. And so you see them, they're the ones that value truth, justice, harmony, but that pressure can lead to a self-worth issues, and they end up pressuring or manipulating others to do the right thing. They believe that if you want something done, do it yourself. They don't just do their own job, they do everybody else's job. So for development, they need to learn how to step back. Like I said in the beginning of the purpose, they're here to master the balance between giving versus when to step back. So just trusting that other people can do their job well. Otherwise, if they just push too much, that intense effort can backfire and other people can feel resentment. So next thing I want to say for development is to avoid the tendency for possessiveness. So instead, channel your energy to creatively express yourself. I find that a lot of 6 life paths, they're very romantic. They really like poetry, songs, music, love. So they could do something creative to express that. 6 life paths, they often forget that they must deal with their own unhappiness before they try to fix other people. So with that's part of learning when to step back. Some sixes, they desire for peace at any price, and it can lead to self-sacrifice, self-destruction. So just be firm on first improving your own happiness. For example, when a relationship arises, you got to state how you feel and when you're feeling it, and keep communication open up before things go bad, instead of like abandoning a relationship abruptly, like just like all of a sudden ghosting from feeling like frustration or disappointment in somebody. Moving on to the emotional side for a 6 life path development. So they can be living in emotional denial because they think so much on what they should do or how they should feel. So like I would also recommend working with like a therapist on reconnecting with your true self instead of the idealized self. Like take off your costume from time to time, like come back down on earth. Just remember that you're human. And it's beautiful to be flawed. So yeah, working on your emotional vulnerability and enjoying the emotions as they come out instead of like wearing this costume like, no, this is how I should feel. So learning how to loosen up, feeling comfortable in your own skin, just be comfortable with looking foolish then and now. Okay, so now to like about personal development. About that part, they naturally face obstacles and limitations on the way when they're improving themselves. I'm pretty like that's true for everybody. So when an obstacle arises, they have to adopt a positive outlook, positive attitude, and practice loving detachment. And you'd end up producing like unexpected results. Also remember the bigger picture and your true priorities instead of like obsess over petty details. So just allowing things to evolve at its natural pace, remember to going with the flow, practicing loving detachment. And one more last thing is they are more acutely aware of vision and growth, and also sensitive to disappointment. But before they can guide and teach others, they must come down on earth and appreciate perfection here and now as it is, and accepting things at the present moment. Can't emphasize that enough. An affirmation for a sixth life path is, in this moment, I see divine perfection in myself and others. My biggest vision is manifesting here and now. So I'm going to say it one more time. In this moment, I see divine perfection in myself and others. My biggest vision is manifesting here and now. Okay. Next, we're going to talk about the careers for a sixth life path. So, sixes, they find it very difficult to work under others, so they would do well working with a home business. In fact, like almost all the sixth life paths I know, they work for themselves or at home, at the comfort of their own home. And so they need to be managing or starting their own business. They are drawn to truth and social justice, so they would do well working in law as a judge or a civil worker for the people. So they do like to teach or heal using social consciousness, teaching that to communities. So they would work really well as educators, doctors, life coaches, counselors, advisors, therapists. Very nurturing quality to them. Also, anything related to home, they could be chefs, bakers, interior designers, work with real estate. On their nurturing side, they could be caretakers, nurses, and homemakers. And lastly, they excel in art, so they can work as hair and makeup artists, musicians, or singers, or actors. Okay. Lastly, I'm going to mention some famous sixth life paths. So we have Jeff Bezos, seeing this idealized version of society and technology and online marketing. Then we have Michael Jackson. It just seems like with his songs, like he sees a better world that we could evolve into. I mean, he co-wrote a song with Lionel Richie about We Are the World. And there's Britney Spears, and then Robert Kiyosaki, Billie Eilish, Einstein, John Lennon, Taylor Swift, Mark Zuckerberg, Justin Timberlake, Warren Buffett, Steven Tyler, Robert Pattinson, Joe Rogan, Jennifer Lawrence, and Victoria Beckham. Okay, so that is it for your sixth life path video. Make sure to give me a like and a thumbs up for more numerology videos. And also make sure to join my Facebook group for free numerology if you want to further look into your birth chart. Okay, so you guys have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.